Today we have a quick, rustic thrift flip. Hard to say. Welcome to Ball Night DIY. I'm Monica. Thanks for joining me. I'm joining these lovely ladies for the Last Thing Thrifted collab. Dawn of Shabby Meets Bling, Traci of Traci Vanover Designs, Shelly of Repurpose My Way, Jody of Jody at Southern Seasons, Zana of OK at Home, and Buffie of Buffie Designs. Let's get into it. So I picked up this metal basket container at a local secondhand shop for $4.99. As soon as I saw it, it reminded me of an olive basket, so we're rolling with it. So I'm going to remove the price sticker and wash the basket with some dish soap and warm water, but I'm going to spare you that chore. I'll be right back. Now that my basket is clean and dry, I'm going to apply a layer of Mod Podge to the basket to help with the paint adhesion to the metal. I'm using a cosmetic sponge to apply it, just dabbing it on. It was really slim pickings at the thrift store. That's why I only have the one project today. There were some other things that I would have grabbed, but I wasn't willing to pay the price they wanted for them. To me, they weren't secondhand prices. You know what I mean? Now that the Mod Podge is dry, I'll apply base coat of black chalk paint. Spray paint probably would have been a better, quicker option, but the can that I had decided it wasn't going to work, so chalk paint it is. I'm just going to give this a very loose coat because it is just the base coat, and I want some of that black to peek through once I get the top coat on. So I'm not going to be too fussy about full coverage. You feel me? The messiest part about using the chalk paint was that the paint kept seeping through the holes on the inside. I'm not going to paint the inside, but I am going to spread that paint out that seeped through. Before I apply the top coat, I'm going to use painter's tape on the inside to mask off those holes. I should have done this from the jump, but you live and learn. You know what I'm saying? Right, now we're all taped up, and I'm going to pounce on my top coat with a sponge. This is actually a clay sponge, but it works perfectly well for this. I'm using Folk Art Sage Shadow here. Such a pretty color. I'm just going to pounce on the paint. I'm digging the look. The black is peeking through, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I love this color. This is the same color that I used on my Lavender Farms bucket that I did back in the spring. I'm going to switch that bucket out with this one. And this will see me through until I decorate for Halloween. The other thing about using this sponge is that the painting went really quickly. So that's always a plus. I am going to do the handles too, just lightly. I was going to leave them as is, but second guess that. But I like the way it looks. Let me know what you think. Let's add some rust. I mixed up some homemade rust paste a couple weeks ago. I'll put the link for the recipe in the description box for you. It's so easy to make and it looks legit. So I'm going to add it here at the base of the handles because I figure that's where it would rust naturally. You know what I mean? We'll start there and we'll see where it leads. I'm using this old stiff bristle brush to apply it. Yeah, I like the way that looks. I think it looks natural. Let's add some down here, down around the bottom. And I'm going to go along the corners too, I think. I'm going to do the other handle next, and then I'll decide where else I might want some. I'm getting into the groove here with this rust. Let's do some up under the lip here too, on the long sides. It's so easy to get carried away with this stuff. But I do want it to look natural, but it is fun to apply. I'm telling you, I really hope that the next time I go to the thrift store, I can find something that's a reasonable price. To be honest though, there were really only 2 or 3 other things that I would have grabbed if they were more reasonable. Our thrift stores mainly seem to have a lot of clothes, all the housewares and whatnot. That stuff seems to go really fast, or it never arrives there. I'm not really sure. I just think people around here tend to do a lot of artistic stuff with their old homeware, I guess. Old home decor. What about where you guys live? Do you have good thrift stores? Good secondhand shops? We have some really cool flea markets around here, but again, you're not getting a discount at all. It is not secondhand prices. These people know that you'll pay. I mean, if you really want it, they know you'll come up with the cash. I'm just lightly brushing some around those holes because that's probably where it would rust too, right? I gotta apologize for my voice. My allergies have been crazy. I'm constantly clearing my throat and my ears are all clogged. I guess it could be worse, right? Anyway, that's why I sound so rough today. Right, so we're just going to finish up rusting this side, and we'll move on. Let's do a little bit more around these holes. Yeah, I like that. I like it. Cha-cha-cha. And let's add a little bit up here around the rim and the handles. That looks legit. Once the paste is dry, I'm going to spray it with clear matte sealer. That way nothing will shed and it'll give me a nice finish. Okay, let's remove the tape now that it's sealed. Right, so I want to make a decorative piece for the front. I'm using Model Magic to create the base. Now, I would have used a wood tag or a slat, but I didn't have one that was long enough. So this was an easy alternative, but I would recommend using, wood slat if you're going to do this, just easier. So I'm just going to condition my clay and I'm going to roll it flat with my brayer. Now I'm going to cut it to the size and shape I want. Just going to be a 6-inch wide rectangle by 2.5-ish. So now that my tag is dry, I'm going to add a top coat of black. This is just regular old black acrylic paint. I designed this tag in Photoshop. It says olives on an olive botanical background. So I'm going to cut that to size and we're going to distress that. I'm using my Martha Stewart paper thingy here because I want kind of a rigid edge on my paper, kind of raggedy, you know what I mean? I really like that ragged edge for these more rustic, primitive pieces. So I'm going to come in here and dry brush the edges of the black clay with a little bit of the green paint. I don't want it to be so harsh. I want it to be a little softer, so I think this helps with that. I'm just softly going around the edge. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the olive tag with the paint, and then we're going to come back and use some ink, because you know we are. I want to get a nice dusting of that green on this tag, tie it all together. I'm going to use a little vintage photograph, Tim Holtz Distressing Ink. I want to grunge it up a wee bit so it doesn't look like it's fresh out of the printer. You know what I'm saying? And of course we're going to use a little black. I want to make sure that I get rid of any of the white edges. You feel me? Now, this is Rusty Hinge Distressing Ink. This is also Tim Holtz. I'm going to add this around the edge of my clay piece because I think it needed to tie in with the basket. A little bit of rust. I'm going to use my Fabri-Fix Glue to attach the tag to the clay. Now, I usually use 3-in-1, but I wasn't able to get it. So, Fabri-Fix, I keep calling it Fabri-Fix. Fabri-Fix is the next best thing. I'm just going to center that, and we're good to go. I have here a couple pieces of magnet tape strip. I'm going to use the Fabri-Fix on the back of this because I don't trust that glue that comes on the magnet itself. I like to use magnets because this way I can take the sign off, no big deal, and I can replace the sign with something else or leave it plain, you know, whatever I'm feeling. I forgot to mention that I did spray the tag with clear matte sealer before I added the magnets. I'm going to pop it on there, and then I'm going to fill it up with some beautiful olive branches. Here's a final look. I really do like the way this turned out. I think this is going to be a pretty alternative to my lavender bucket. Look how good it looks, and it really does look legitimately rusted and old. Let me know what you think. I'd like to thank my co-hosts. Please be sure to check out Dawn, Traci, Shelly, Jody, Zana, and Buffy's channels. I'll have links in the description box, along with a link to the playlist, and a list of my supplies. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Stay creative, my friends. Thanks for hanging with me. See you next time. Up all night with Monica.